Guanabara Bay is an oceanic bay located in southeast Brazil in the state of Rio de Janeiro. On its western shore lies the city of Rio de Janeiro and Duque de Caxias, and on its eastern shore the cities of Niterói and São Gonçalo. 4 other municipalities surround the bay's shores. Guanabara Bay is the second largest bay in area in Brazil, at 412 square kilometers, with a perimeter of 143 kilometers. Guanabara Bay is 31 kilometers long and 28 kilometers wide at its maximum. Its 1.5 kilometers wide mouth is flanked at the eastern tip by the Pico de Papaio and the western tip by Pau de Araqueca. The name Guanabara comes from the Tupi language, Guanabara, from GWA Bay, plus now similar to and BARAC. Traditionally, it is also translated as the bosom of sea. History. Guanabara Bay was first encountered by Europeans on January 1, 1502, when one of the Portuguese explorers Gaspar de Lemos and Goncalo Coelho arrived on its shores. According to some historians, the name given by the exploration team to the bay was originally Rio de Janeiro, January Sound. Then a confusion took place between the word Rio, which at the time was used to designate a bay or a sound, and Rio, river. As a result, the name of the bay was soon fixed as Rio de Janeiro. Later, the city was named after the bay. Natives of the Tamo'o and Tupiniquim tribes inhabited the shores of the bay. After the initial arrival of the Portuguese, no significant European settlements were established until French colonists and soldiers, under the Huguenot Admiral Nicolas Durand de Villegagnon, invaded the region in 1555 to establish the France Antarctique. They stayed briefly on Lage Island, then moved to Sergipe Island, near the shore, where they built Fort Colini. After they were expelled by Portuguese military expeditions in 1563, the colonial government built fortifications in several points of Guanabara Bay, rendering it almost impregnable against a naval attack from the sea. They were the Santa Cruz, São João, Lage and Villegagnon forts, forming a fearsome crossfire rectangle of big naval guns. Other islands were adapted by the Navy to host naval storehouses, hospitals, dry docks, oil reservoirs, and the National Naval Academy. Description: there are more than 130 islands dotting the bay, including Lage Ilha de Governador, site of Rio de Janeiro's Galeão Antonio Carlos Jobim International Airport, Ilha de Paqueta, Ilha das Cobras, Flores, Ilha Fiscal, Ilha da Boa Viagem, Villegagnon, Fundão. The bay is crossed by the Rio-Niterói Bridge, long and with a central span 72 meters high, and there is heavy boat and ship traffic, including regular ferry boat lines. The port of Rio de Janeiro, as well as the city's 2 airports, Galeão Antonio Carlos Jobim International Airport and Santos Dumont Airport, are located on its shores. The Federal University of Rio de Janeiro main campus is located on the artificial Fundão Island. A maze of smaller bridges interconnect the 2 largest islands, Fundão and Governador, to the mainland. There is an environmental protection area, which is located mostly in the municipality of Guapimirim and given the name of Guapimirim APA. Environment. Guanabara Bay's once rich and diversified ecosystem has suffered extensive damage in recent decades, particularly along its mangrove areas. The bay has been heavily impacted by urbanization, deforestation, and pollution of its waters with sewage, garbage, and oil spills. As of 2014, more than 70% of the sewage from 12 million inhabitants of Rio de Janeiro Janeiro now flows into the bay untreated. There have been 3 major oil spills in Guanabara Bay. The most recent was in 2000 when a leaking underwater pipeline released 1,300,000 liters of oil into the bay, destroying large swaths of the mangrove ecosystem. Recovery measures are currently being attempted, but more than a decade after the incident, the mangrove areas have not returned to life. One of the world's largest landfills is located at Jardim Gramacho adjacent to Guanabara Bay. It was closed in 2012 after 34 years of operation. The landfill attracted attention from environmentalists and it supported 1,700 people scavenging for recyclable materials. In June 2014, Dutch windsurfer and former Olympic and world champion Dorian van Rijsselberghe made an urgent appeal to government and industry in the Netherlands to collaborate in cleaning up the bay. Together with the Plastic Soup Foundation, the Dutch government picked up the message and formulated a Clean Urban Delta initiative Rio de Janeiro together with a consortium of Dutch industry, knowledge institutes and NGOs, which will be presented to the Brazilian authorities in the state of Rio de Janeiro, as part of the preparations for the 2016 Summer Olympics in Rio. The government was supposed to improve the conditions, but progress has been slow. There have been concerns that the efforts may only be short-term and abandoned following the Games, as there would be little political incentive to continue with them.